is Amber Jones. I am 23 and I have hereditary angioedema. Hereditary angioedema is a genetic mutation, I believe, of the cells that stop your body from swelling. Any part of my body can swell, inside or out. My throat swells, my chest, my hands and feet, my arms. I had my inner ear swell recently, actually, so I'm still learning what parts of my body can swell. For me, a swelling attack is caused by sudden strenuous exercise, sudden changes in the weather, stress, and sometimes whenever my body feels like it. To start off with, it wasn't very often. I'd probably have an attack every 3 or 4 months maybe. And again, it's not any one particular place, it's completely at random. But over the years, my attacks have become more frequent, more painful as well, some of them. My specialist in Brisbane, an immunologist, he prescribed me medication. I was on tranexamic acid for a while to try and stop the attacks. Over the years it stopped working, so I was prescribed Danazol, and that still didn't work. In recent years we've had an injection called Virazia, or Ecadamant is the other name for it.
Yeah.
And that's a subcutaneous injection at the onset of an attack. I've tried not to let it affect me, especially in recent years.
Yeah.
I used to hide my condition. I felt like a freak, basically. In recent years, I've been more open about my condition, hoping to make more people aware, because currently in Australia there's about, I think it's about 130 confirmed cases of hereditary angioedema in Australia. Doctors don't know what they're looking for. They don't know what to look for because they've never seen it.
And your daughter, she's been tested?
Yeah, I had her tested when she was 2, because I knew there was a 50-50 chance of her having it being passed on from me. I spent about a week crying because she has it.
Yeah.
But it was basically knowing that she had it was my motivation for speaking out more about it, making my friends aware, making anybody who listen aware. At that time it was mostly stomach attacks, but they'd get so bad pain-wise, and I'd be so dehydrated from vomiting that I would end up having to come up here. And unfortunately then we didn't have access to C1 concentrate, so doctors here were trying to give me fresh frozen plasma, and one of them even suggested adrenaline.
Oh yeah.
And trying to treat it as anaphylaxis, despite me saying it's not anaphylaxis, it's this. There was letters from my specialist, but 9 out of 10 visits to Mount Isa Hospital have resulted in me leaving upset, feeling like I've been ignored. I'm terrified when I come here, because even though I know that I'm having an attack because of how it feels, I've had doctors and nurses say, well, we think it's this, we're going to do a test for this and this. And they try and rule out, they do everything they can to test for anything but the condition. And I asked them why they were running tests on my heart, and they said, well, you're having chest pain. I said, it's an angioedema swelling attack. You will find there is a buildup of fluid which is causing it, and this is the medication I need to be given if you just look at the letters from my specialist. I left that day without the medication. I'm terrified I'm going to go home, and if I go to sleep that night, I'm not going to wake up. The problem that I'm having though, it's not a miscommunication, it's the doctors physically cannot see the swelling, and so they have said that it's in my head pretty much. There is a stack of letters from my specialist explaining the condition and how it presents. And yet I've had doctors and nurses stand outside my room in emergency saying it's in my head. I know that it's not in my head. I know that it's not a common disease or anything like that. So I know that it's a new thing for them. And I do understand that, but I feel like they need to try to understand me instead of assuming that because they can't see it, it's
Not
in my head. Unfortunately, I haven't been able to come across any strategy that gets them to listen. I get really upset, and there has been a couple of times where it's reached the point where I've raised my voice. As bad as I feel about raising my voice, I feel sometimes it's the only way I can be heard. Whereas at the moment, I don't feel like I'm respected or heard at all. I feel like a number, basically. I have, on a couple of occasions, been told that the price of the medication was very expensive, and that made me feel that the budget was more important than my health. To be honest, I shouldn't be made to feel this way. I see people come in and out, and they get the help they need, that they deserve, and the respect that they deserve. And then there's me sitting in a bed hours on end, waiting. And after sitting in ED for 2 hours, it had been about 6 hours since the injection, and my throat had gotten slightly worse, but it was still, it was bearable at that point. My doctor decided that he wanted to wait another 4 to 6 hours to see if I might need the C1 concentrate, to which I will admit I got very upset and cranky. I made a phone call to the head of the HAE Australasia organisation and told her what had happened, and that once again I was leaving without the medication. She used a few choice words, that this had happened once again, and made a few phone calls on my behalf, including one to my immunologist. About an hour after I left, I received a phone call from ED saying, come back in, as soon as you come in we will give you the C1. I arrived about 15 minutes later, and I still had to wait 6 hours to receive the medication. However, every time I go to ED, it's like you're watching the same movie for the millionth time. It's the same story, it's the same words every time. Are you sure it's this? Are you absolutely 100% sure that it's your condition? Makes me feel like they think that I'm stupid, that I don't know what I'm talking about. And the problem with that is I've been having attacks for about 14 years now. It feels very redundant having to try and explain things every single time. I feel like that I get, every now and then I get the same doctor I've had previously, and I'm explaining about the condition all over again like he's never heard of it. So now I'm having regular infusions. I have an infusion of the C1 concentrate once a fortnight at the moment to try and stop my attacks. The last attack I had before that was 3.5 weeks, and it's the longest I've been without an attack in such a long time. I can't even remember when. It makes me feel like I can live more of a normal life and be able to do a lot more things than I can now, which is a definite sigh of relief.